Good morning, everyone. Good morning and welcome. My name is Tracy Shake, and I'm privileged to coordinate the University of Arizona Arthritis Center's community outreach and education programs. It is my pleasure to offer a warm welcome to each of you to the 2025 Living Healthy with Arthritis Symposium. We are honored to host you for this special educational event. Our community outreach and education programs offer timely and beneficial health education to audiences locally, nationally, and internationally. These programs are made possible with the support of our generous donors and the Friends of the Arthritis Center. As many of you are aware, arthritis afflicts nearly 60 million Americans, including 1 in every 3 Arizonans. Arthritis is much more than just pain. It is a more frequent cause of activity limitation than heart disease, cancer, and diabetes. At the Arthritis Center, we pursue a pain-free world through basic research, translation, and patient care. Founded in 1985 by Doctors Eric Gall and Robert Voles, we remain the only center of our kind in the state of Arizona dedicated to multidisciplinary research and education related to musculoskeletal, rheumatic, and autoimmune diseases. We are pleased today to have with us Mrs. Ann Voles and Amy Voles-Jobst. If you will please stand and be recognized. Education and outreach are critical components in improving the lives of those living with arthritis. We are also the longest-standing source of training in the state of Arizona for medical students, residents, and fellows. The Arthritis Center is dedicated to making a difference in the lives of patients. We do this through research, ranging from molecules to people, by empowering patients to take charge of their lifestyles, and by educating clinicians and scientists to develop and apply novel and more effective therapies. I am now pleased to introduce our opening session today, our first presenter of the day, Susan Baker, to present the healing art of breathing. Susan has been a fitness, yoga, and movement specialist for more than 20 years. She has been a member of the esteemed Canyon Ranch Wellness Resort team for 17 years, leading programs that cross disciplines including yoga, breathing, aquatic therapy, dance, drumming, meditation, and all forms of cardiovascular, strength, and flexibility practices. She has committed her career to a holistic approach to fitness, movement, and wellness while working with clientele from all over the world. Please join me in welcoming Susan Baker.
Thank you. Thank you so much. What a delight to be back here. I've had the privilege of teaching a chair yoga class and a meditation class here at the center. But today we get to breathe, which I'm very passionate about. I actually first really became aware of the power of breath because, as Tracy in her lovely introduction mentioned, that I am an actor. And I was doing outdoor theater and big, vast areas, and you have to project, and you're doing Shakespeare, oh me, what eyes. How can you hold that level, that volume, without being mic'd? And so learning all about breath, I spent an entire summer with the Royal Shakespeare Company, and one of the things we did was we just spent like an hour every time we met doing mouth work and breathing exercises. So that was kind of a little taste into it, but as my yoga practice grew, I realized that an entire branch of yoga is breathing. It's called pranayama. So there's 8 limbs to yoga, and that's one of the limbs to yoga. So It is that important in yoga that they have many, many different types of techniques. And I thought I'd share with you some techniques. Some you might go, oh, that's it. And others you might be, and some might just be fun and silly, okay? So I thought we'd start with a really basic thing. It's called Dirga breath. And Dirga literally means to elongate, Dirga. And so this is an elongation of the breath. I don't know if you've noticed, but if you go to like the store, you're hanging around, just look at people breathing through their mouths. I'm not saying they're like, but you see people breathing through their mouths all the time. I'm also, do that. I think what happened was during COVID, with that mask on, desperately trying to get the air in, I was training myself to breathe through my mouth, and I think that some of us kind of kept that going even when the masks were able to be taken off, right? So this is a really nice way to get us started with this elongation of the breath, to breathe in and out through nostrils. Most of the practices I will be teaching you will be primarily breathing in and out through nostrils. Sometimes we sigh out through the mouth. But we want to breathe in and out through the nostrils. Why? Filter. Yeah, it's a filter. It warms the air. It slows the rate of breath. They've actually shown shorter, faster staccato breath. Your blood pressure goes up. You panic. It puts you in that panic state, whereas breathing slower, breathing in and out through your nostrils, you're practicing already. I'll go. Yes, that it's going to help us fall into that parasympathetic nervous system, that relax, release, let go response. So, Dirga breath is a 3-part breath. Put your hands on your belly, if you will. Kind of lower abdomen. Sitting up nice and tall, so we have lots of space here. And we're going to do a clearing breath first. We're going to breathe in through our nose and sigh out through our mouth. I want you to try to bring that breath way down into your belly. So here we go. Inhale. And exhale. Now seal the lips and see if you can continue that belly breathing. Maybe even exaggerating that fullness of breath in the belly. One last one. Nice. Did you feel that actual inflation? I like to think of the diaphragm as really given the short end of the stick. The diaphragm is this amazing muscle, and it is in our body to breathe. I think of it as a turkey baster. When it pulls down, it's like a turkey baster pulling all that breath into your body, and then as you exhale, it softens. I know this might be a little sexist, but I feel that as a woman, I was always told to suck it in and hold it in and make it tight, and we've been given Spanx and girdles, and we wanted to have a tiny little waistline, and so we spent so much time trying to maintain that tight, corseted belly that we started breathing more poorly. And I'm not saying that isn't the case for men too. I'm sure that you have the same things, but breathing with your secondary set of muscles, the muscles that are in your shoulders, in your neck, so, and in your intercostals. So we're breathing. And the fact that we're seated so often, it's harder to breathe with your diaphragmatically. But I think I was looking out there, everybody looked like their belly was puffing out. Don't be ashamed. Let that belly get round. Okay, part 2. Bring your hands to your ribs. My Pilates people are very familiar with this, right? In Pilates, they they practice a lateral breath. In this one, I want you to think of your rib cage expanding in all directions. So here we go. We'll do that cleansing breath first. Inhale through the nose. Sigh out through the mouth. Close the lips and breathe into the rib cage. Even into the back of your body. Think about the shape of your lungs, how at the base of your lungs it's wider, it broadens, how your ribs spread apart with that inhale. And one last time. Very nice, and relax. So that was the second part of the breath. The third part is at the top of the lungs. And I don't really practice this too much because I feel that we're all very capable of breathing up like this. But we're gonna just, right now, just to feel it, let the belly go into your, let the breath go to your belly, to your ribs, and then up more towards the top of your lungs. So let's do that. All the way up, 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 up. Take a little extra sip. Sigh out. Okay, let's try that one more time with our lips sealed this time. Little extra sip. You've all graduated to 3-part breath. I know, you get diplomas afterwards. I'll sign your menus or your sheets. So let's go ahead. We're going to practice that 3-part breath. We're going to breathe into our belly. We're going to breathe into our lungs. We're going to breathe into our upper chest. And then as we exhale, we're going to go in the reverse. Let it come out of the top of the chest, out of the ribs, and then squeeze it out of the belly, okay? So you can have your eyes open or closed. You might want to place a hand on your chest, one on the belly. Maybe you just want to sit, relax, whatever feels good for you. We'll do that cleansing breath first. Take that big breath in. Sigh out. Seal the lips, and let's begin. Belly, ribs, collarbone, and then collarbone, ribs, belly. We'll do that together as a group. Again, belly, ribs, collarbone, collarbone, ribs, belly. And now can we make it fluid, like a wave happening in your body? Go at your own pace, breathing in. And then breathing out. Two more times. Give it one last shot. And then just rest your hands down if they were resting on your body. Maybe close the eyes for a moment. And notice, do you feel a certain sense of calmness? A certain ease of breath? You can flutter your eyes open. What a great thing to do. For in the morning, you're lying in bed, start your day off with some of that Dirga breathing. Why? It's testing your breathing. It's getting you to use your diaphragm. It's getting you to use that whole breathing apparatus appropriately. It's oxygenating your blood. So laying in bed is perfect. You can see your belly rise up and down. You can put a pillow on your belly and watch it float up and down. It's a great way to start out your day. So, Dirga breath, it's one of the most primary ones. You all graduated. So, breathing. There's a wonderful book called Breath by James Nestor. I bet some of you have read it. If not, it's on audiobook, just saying. It's brilliant. It's a man who explored 10 years, explored breathing. He had an epiphany during a meditation session, and he threw himself into breathing, and he went at it. Why are people breathing through their nose? He went into the catacombs in France and saw that we've actually physically changed with our huge frontal lobe has impinged on our sinuses and made them smaller. So why are there reasons for our breathing incorrectly? What are the things that are happening? He studies Native Americans who literally hold their babies' lips together when they sleep. So they teach them to breathe through their nose. There are people who have become elite athletes, the top of the top Olympic athletes, by doing new breath control. You may have heard, some of you who are kind of into that, of slow breathing, which is miserable, but it's something that's really changed the endurance of long distance runners. Huge. And of course, you know of free divers. So he touches in that. He finds all these interesting things about it. I'm going to throw it out there. James Nestor is a brilliant writer, and it's called Breathe. So it's called Breath. So let's do something fun. You look sort of serious. I love this breath. It's called bumblebee breath. So if you have grandkids, this is an awesome breath to do with the grandkids. If you're a singer, you should do this breath. If you just want to have fun, you should do this breath. Bumblebee breath, literally, we sound like a drunken bumblebee. Okay? What we'll do is we're going to hum our breath out. Once again, we're elongating the breath. If we're humming it out, it takes a lot longer. Plus the vibrations, what's happening, it actually is very soothing. They suggest that 10 rounds of bumblebee breath before you go to bed, you'll sleep like a baby. But it's also super fun. When I first learned bumblebee breath, it was at a yoga studio, and it was very constrictive. They had you close your eyes and your nose. And instead, we're going to close our ears. I'll show you what it looks like, so you can all get a laugh out of it right away. We take our thumbs and we put it, this is called your tragus, this little notch here. We put our thumbs where our tragus is, and we make little antennae with our fingers. And then what we're going to do, I'll show you what it looks like first. We take a breath, and then we hum it out like this. And extend it out. And we'll do some bumblebee breaths together. How about we go for, you're looking a little skeptical. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Let's try 5, and you don't have to if you don't want to. You can just sit and laugh at me at this, my gosh, this crazy woman up there sounding like a drunken bumblebee. But if you wanted to go with me, thumbs here, fingers like little antennae, sitting up tall. If you want to close your eyes, you can. If you want to keep them open, big breath in, and hum. Take another deep breath in and hum. Again. Two more. Last one. Put Put your hands down. Ooh, who needs a glass of wine? Are we feeling well pollinated? Yeah? So that is a really fun breath, and because of the vibration and because of lengthening that out, that is actually one that they suggest will really help you kind of settle yourself down, reset yourself, ready for bed. Plus, it's super fun to do if you do have kids. Or, find kids. They're everywhere. They're in grocery stores, parks. I'm always running into the little things. Like, come here. I'm going to try this. So that's a fun breath to do. So most of the time for Mother's Day, you get flowers. My daughter got me this. It is a tiny Buddha. It is a breathing Buddha. This Buddha, if you tap it, and you probably can't see unless I put my hand here to see the colors, it actually runs you through a series, see how it's turning colors? It runs you through a series of breathing exercises based on how many times she knows I'm into breathing. So this was my instead of flowers, I got a glowing Buddha. But it has two different settings. One where it's just a breathing in and out to start to even out your breath. You could do that by counting the number of beats it takes to get to the top of the breath and the number of beats it takes to get to the bottom. Or you could just be mesmerized by this adorable Buddha. It also has a box breathing method in here on this one as well, and it makes a great nightlight. So I thought I'd show it to you because I thought it was really funny, so I've stuck my Buddha in my purse. All right, as he continues to glow happily over here on the side. There we go, he's off. All right, so we have now done a 3-part breath. We've done a bumblebee breath. I want to give you a breath that's ideal for the summer. It is called Sitali breath. It is a cooling breath. It is great for if you have menopause, hot flashes, if you just get overheated, you've been playing pickleball, hey, it gets a little great breath. It's kind of funny because some people don't have the ability to curl their tongue up like a taco, because that is what you do. You curl your tongue up like a little taco, right? If you cannot do that, and there are people who cannot do that. If you cannot do that, then you take your tongue and you put it at the back of your front teeth and you breathe through the sides of your tongue. So if you can't roll it up like a little straw, you can breathe through the sides. You get the same effect. You're not going to believe how cooling this is. You'll actually feel it's like an evaporative cooler you built in. So hands down, let's go ahead and try it. In through the nose. Sigh out, curl your tongue or place it at the back of your teeth and draw that breath in. Sigh out, again. Breathe out. You can do it either through mouth or nose. Again. Let's do 3 more. Nice deep breath. Here's our last one. Feel cooler, huh? Isn't that amazing? It's basically you've made an evaporative cooler for yourself is what that is. So you've just chilled up all that air. So it's a nice way. So if you find yourself, you're sitting there outside, it's getting hot, take a couple breaths. So as you probably know, because there's a lot of research out there now about breathing and blood pressure, there's an incredible study that was done at the University of Denver in which they gave people this. It looks like it's a vape pen. I'm kind of embarrassed to pull this out. It's not a vape pen. It's a little thing that you breathe in and out of. And it has little numbers on it, and you can turn the numbers, and that will increase or decrease the resistance of breathing in and out. And you breathe in and out through this. It doesn't take that long, but they did it with people. They had them do it 3 times a day. I think it was 3 minutes each round, and they did blood pressure tests on them, and there was a significant lowering of blood pressure once they've trained people to use this. And as you get better, you turn the dial up. It becomes more challenging to breathe in and out through this. But there's all different ones on the market. But there is, NPR did an article on it too. So if you pull up NPR and University of Denver breathing, there's information on that. And they have the whole story of how that was done. It's pretty fascinating. So just an idea, if you're having some blood pressure stuff, you might want to give this a shot and see if this doesn't make a difference in your blood pressure. So, toys today. Yeah. I love the toys. So how are we doing on time? I want to see how many more breaths we can get in. Okay. Let's go ahead, and we're going to do a box breath, which is one of the ones that my Buddha is programmed for. But this is a really great meditative breath. You can do it as a meditation. You can do it before you start your meditation. You can do it when you're having a really stressful time. Things are not going your way. Take 5 minutes, go into the back room, and try a little bit of box breathing. Now, box breathing is what the name implies. You breathe in your mind's eye the shape of a square or a box. So you inhale up one side of the box for 4 counts. You hold across the top of the box for 4 counts. You exhale down the other side of the box for 4 count, and you hold across the bottom. Sometimes it's hard to hold that bottom one out, so if you want to extend your exhalation a little bit longer, that will work too. But basically 4, 4, 4, 4. So, I found the best way to do this, for me, was to start out with something that was audible, like a metronome or something that was ticking, so you could hear the beats, right? So I'll do that. I'm going to clap my hand on my thigh, and if you'd like to join me with this, you can, gaze at something and let your focus blur. You can close your eyes, but we're going to breathe out. Everybody breathe out through the mouth, and we're going to start breathing in through the nose to the count of 4. And hold. Exhale through the nose. And hold. 2, 3, 4. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. And hold. Inhale, hold, exhale, and hold. Inhale, nice diaphragmatic breath, hold, exhale, and hold. I'm going to slow it down just a little bit. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. And hold. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. And hold. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. And hold. Now do it on your own to the beat starting now. Now without the beats, on your own. And then let go of the image of the box or square. Let go of counting. And flutter your eyes open and see if you don't feel sort of a sense of peace. That's a really nice little thing to have in your pocket. If you're at the airport, you can do that. Nobody will notice. As opposed to the breath I'm going to teach you next, which might look a little bit more peculiar. So, box breathing, a really nice thing to have. If that doesn't feel good for you, you don't have to make it 4, 4, 4, and 4. You can make any kind of beats you want. You can do 5, 7, 9. As long as your exhalation is as long or longer than your inhalation, it'll work. As a matter of fact, I've had two different men that came in to see me to take a breathing class with me, and they were Navy SEALs. And I taught them that technique, and one of them said, "Oh, yeah, we called that tactical breathing." And another one said, "Oh, we called that combat breathing." So they actually were taught a form of that before they were deployed on things to calm themselves, to kind of get themselves prepared mentally and ready for doing that next task. So very calming. The next breath I'm going to teach you, though, is for focus, because you have these great speakers coming up, and I want you to be focused instead of... So this particular breath is called alternate nostril breathing, Nadi Shodhana. Yeah. And when I was taught Nadi Shodhana, I was taught to do it like this. You press one side and then the other, and you go back and forth like this. It's a lot of work. It's like you're playing ping pong, you know, ding, ding. So I have since found a nicer way to do this, and I'm not clever enough to mirror you. But you're going to take your right hand and put your peace fingers together, yeah? And you're going to place those peace fingers at the point between your eyebrows. That's what we call in yoga our third eye. You place those fingers there, yeah? Just gently. And that's going to act as your fulcrum as you rock back and forth. And then what we do is we seal off our left nostril with the inside of our left finger. That's where that will seal off. And then we seal off our right nostril with our thumb, right? So that's how we're going to alternate back and forth. A couple little tricks. First off, go to the little fold above your nose. Don't try to plug up that's just sticky and weird. Don't do that. Bring it up a little bit, that little fold up above there, right? Okay. And we're also going to start and end with the right nostril. So I've had people say, well, why right or why left? Well, in yoga, the right side is considered our solar, our powerful, our driven, energetic side, and the left side is the lunar, the calming, more gentle. So if you were to do alternate nostril breathing at night, you would probably start and end through the left side. If you're trying to focus, because I know you all want to focus for what's going on here, we're going to start and end through the right side. So, everybody ready? Assume the position. Fingers, yes. We're going to seal off that left nostril with the inside of that ring finger. Take a big breath in through the nose. Remember, we're still breathing diaphragmatically. Breathe in. Seal that off. Exhale through the left nostril. Stay right there. Inhale through the left nostril. Pause. Close it off. Exhale right. Stay right there. Breathe in through right. Seal. Exhale left. You can close your eyes if you want. And inhale left. Seal. Exhale right. And inhale right. close. Full round of breath on the left. Both the exhale and inhale left. At the top of the breath, close that off. Exhale, inhale right. And now you're on your own, so full round of breath. And if you get lost along the way, it doesn't matter. Just retrace your steps. And I want you to take your time wherever you're at. But the last one we'll do is we're going to seal off the left nostril and exhale through the right, and then put your hand back down. So take your time, get there. And then open your eyes. So that is a breath to help us focus. If you're having one of those days where you sit down at your computer and you suddenly are adrift in all the, I wonder how do you lose that stubborn belly fat, you know? You start to go off down that's a great way to get yourself to refocus, starting in and out through right nostril, falling asleep. What's really interesting is you can do that breath without touching your nose at all. I know, it's a little harder. You'll get better at it. Let's everybody give it a shot. I always like watching people's facial expressions when they try to do this. Hands down. Go ahead and just see if you can breathe in through your right nostril. Some will come through the left. See if you can breathe through your right nostril. Close that off. Now, can you try to breathe more out through the left nostril? Stay right there. Can you breathe in through the left nostril? Stop. Breathe through the right nostril. See, so you could do this practice, and you'll get better at that, actually, the more you do it. You could do this practice in public, and nobody need know, right? It's like, I need to focus, I can practice. But it does. It just gives we talked about this in my meditation, that we use an anchor, something to hold that chatty mind onto. That gives us just enough stimulus, and then it calms us down at the same time. And you probably notice, I can breathe so much easier through my left nostril. Here's a little thing. In about 45 minutes, take another exam. Notice if you're breathing more openly through your other nostril. It's really interesting. We have like a circadian rhythm for the tissue that's in our nose. And I've read up on why that is. The closest I came to a medical explanation was because that's how we keep our sinuses moist. You breathe more fully through one side, and the other side has a chance to get moist. That's the closest, but they really don't know. But we have our own rhythms on what side of the sinuses we breathe in on. So, okay. So how are we doing here? I think I can give you, I think I'll do just one last little breath thing here. So, getting yourself all settled in. Palms down. Close your eyes. Just notice your breath. Notice how it floats easily in and out. Take a nice slow, deep breath in through your nostrils. Let that breath just float up to the very crown of your head, lifting your head up. Let your head remain floating skyward like a helium balloon. As you exhale, let your shoulders drop down. Let your hips rest a little heavier into the chair. Good. Inhale. Breathe to the crown of your head. As you exhale, just let your hips settle back down. Now I want you to imagine a white sphere of light at the very top of your head. Let that ball of light roll down the back of your head, between your shoulder blades down to your tailbone as you exhale. Let it rest there momentarily, and as you breathe in, imagine that ball of light rolling up your spine to the very crown of your head. And I want you to stay there with that image of that light rolling up and down the back of your body, following the breath. As your mind wanders, bring it gently back to the path that ball is taking up and down the back of your body. And now I want you to breathe to the very top of your head and imagine that ball of light dropping right through the center of your body, following your breath all the way down to your sits bones. And as you inhale, letting that ball of light roll right back up to the very top of your head. Stay with that. And now let that ball of light go to the very crown of the head and let it roll down the forehead, behind the eyes, through the mouth, front of the throat, the chest, all the way down to the lower abdomen, pubic bone, and then let it roll back up. Follow that ball of light as it rolls up and down the front of your body. And then let that ball of light just rest there in your chest, in that heart space area, expanding, finding comfort, finding ease there, but a sense of energy. And when you're ready, open your eyes. So that was doing a little breathwork technique with a little meditation. So those are a few. I didn't go into some of the more challenging breaths because some of them are counterindicated, like Kapalabhati breath, which is shining skull breath, where you're quickly beating your diaphragm, which pushes blood pressure way up. And there's a lot of other things about that one that where if you want to explore that more, absolutely go in there. You can look it up, see how it works for you. I'm a little cautious with that one. So that, though, is a little breath work for today. Thank you so much for being here and playing with me and humming. Thank you.
A tremendous thank you to Susan Baker for this morning's opening session.